Hello and welcome back to this masterclass mini course on communicating like a leader. I'm Mahibi, I'm the C coach, and I'm going to continue taking us on a journey of learning how we can elevate our communication skills and be the leader we want to be and others to see us as the leader we want to be. So let's have a look at where we are on our journey. We've covered the foundation and we're now moving on to look at the 13 fundamentals of what it is that makes up effective communications. So let's keep going. Before we start, I want us to do a reflective exercise. So I invite you to pause the video at this point and write down your ideas of what you believe are the key skills that a leader needs to communicate effectively. What do you see and notice in others? So pause the video, take a moment and write down your ideas. Okay, let's continue. So you've written down your ideas of what it is you believe are the core skills of an effective communicator. Here are my 13 core communication skills. So you can see that there's only 12 in front of you right now. So I'm about to unveil the key 13th communication skill. Let's just have a look at what we've got here. We have clarity, conciseness, consistency, active listening, empathy, openness, adaptability, timing, purpose, non-verbal communication, feedback, and learning and improving. So what's the 13th core communication skill? It's confidence. And the reason that I have isolated or highlighted confidence is that it's not just a feeling as we usually think about confidence. I want to feel confidence in. I want to feel self-confidence about something, right? When we think about perhaps communicating, I want to feel confident about communicating. It is also a skill, and it is not just a skill on its own, but it is the sum of all the other skills that we're going to look at. And I'm also going to share with you that my powerhouse value for building confidence is courage. So we need to practice courage to step outside of our comfort zone. Maybe you're staying silent in meetings. Maybe you hold yourself back from saying the thing that you really want to say, or you really want to express an opinion, but you might have a belief that your opinion doesn't matter. Or it might just seem really scary to stand up in a room of people, an auditorium, and present about how you do things, how you write your policies, or how you have developed processes that work within your business. Courage is going to be the powerhouse to practice all of these skills and build confidence. And confidence is a skill that we need to work on continuously. Once you feel confidence, it's not that you're there and you never need to look back. So let's break down the core communication skills one by one and have a look what we're dealing with here. So the first one is clarity. So clearly expressing your ideas, using simple, concise language. I talk about leveling. So avoiding jargon that somebody or people that you are communicating with wouldn't understand. We want to talk the same language. It really helps us to connect with people. And the key thing that I notice is that we are all in a hurry to communicate, and generally everyone's so busy. Pace yourself, slow down. And if you need to, find ways to support yourself to slow down. Take a breath before answering. Feel into your feet on the ground. Ask someone for an extra moment to think about your response and take notice of how you are talking and the pace that you are setting. The next one is conciseness. So just being brief, to the point, and where we need to be, just being direct about things. We've all been there where actually someone could have communicated a key message in 5 minutes, or they could have done it via an email update, or they could have put it up on a notice board, or they could have just said that to you in a couple of words, and actually an hour later you've gone all around the houses and you can't even remember why this person was talking to you. So being concise and to the point and focusing on your key message is really going to support you to allow the other person or the people to come out and remember that key message. So avoid unnecessary details and be conscious and respectful of other people's time with that as well. Consistency. It's so important that we are consistent, not just in what we are saying, but also in how we are delivering our communications. It can put people on edge if they don't know what state you're going to be in when they need to interact with you. So the tone, the volume, the how is really important to make sure that people feel safe and they feel comfortable when they need to interact with you. So the what is also important in terms of ensuring that different people that you might be communicating the what to, the content, there's a consistency there. It's not that there's conflicting messages that's going around the business or even within your team or from one person to the other. So creating consistency means that people can rely on you. They can trust that you provide the reality. You're a good source of information. The fourth one is active listening. So we're going to look at this in more detail in module 5. However, being an active listener means being truly present with people, holding space, being okay with not talking. Actively listening to someone is truly ensuring that that person feels heard. It's about showing you're engaged, that you're with them, that you're interested, that you want to understand, that you're curious without judgment. And it's also about showing that that person's voice, their opinion, their view, their perspective is valid. So we are giving people an opportunity to be themselves and express themselves from a place of honesty. And even if you don't agree with that person, you still provide space for them to express what is important for them. Empathy. This connects with active listening. So asking questions, being curious to understand and truly understand, not to ask questions to catch people out so that your point of view is the right one. It's really about understanding where that person comes from. What is the reality of the situation that they find themselves in a particular scenario, whatever's happening within the context of this communications. You're trying to gain their perspective, and you're showing compassion and understanding when they share their point of view or their opinion with you. So showing compassion means not being judgmental, not being biased, and truly giving someone an opportunity for their emotions, their feelings to be valid. Connects to openness. So if we are truly empathetic, we are open to new ideas and viewpoints. We do not start an interaction or a piece of communication that I am right. That's not going to facilitate space to collaborate. It's not going to spark creativity and new ideas. So allowing people space to express and fostering a presence within the space that you're facilitating or within the space that you are a part of, so that people do feel comfortable, they feel safe, they feel that they can trust you to collaborate with you, and that you're not necessarily going to always not put them down, but use it as an opportunity to just prove your point. We've all worked with people like that, and it's really, really difficult. So again, allowing people space to feel that they're heard and that their point is valid. Adaptability. So being flexible in the style to fit the context. I know that if I'm speaking to one person, I'm going to adapt the way that I'm communicating with them dependent on the person that's in front of me. Does that person like to get things done? 15 minutes, in and out, direct, concise, to the point, or do they like to go and grab a coffee when we have our 15-minute catch up? Are you engaging with a senior stakeholder who is always focused on the detail? They like asking questions. Think about that. So if I know I've got a stakeholder like that, schedule in 30 minutes, prepare 15 or 20 minutes to present whatever it is you're presenting, an update, a change in policy, whatever it might be, and then provide space for that person to ask questions, to talk about it together. So they feel as though you understand them, and that's also going to support you to implement any changes and also facilitate collaboration, perhaps one on one. If you're presenting to an auditorium, the way that you're going to communicate is going to be different as well. So adjusting your approach to suit the needs of the situation. Timing. When we're talking about timing, we're not necessarily saying how long a particular interaction or communication needs to be, but actually the when you're going to communicate. If I need to provide feedback to my direct report, I'm not going to do that in a team meeting in front of their teammates. If I need to catch my colleague who's about to go into a business development meeting or hold a presentation for our clients, and they're working on their presentation, or it's 10 minutes before, I'm not going to grab them to have a really important conversation with them. It's not appropriate. So thinking about the appropriate factor when we think about timing, and knowing how much time something needs. If someone's walking out the door and you know that the thing you need to talk to them about is going to take 30 minutes, not appropriate to catch someone as they're going out the door or say to them, I need 5 minutes, but then you hold that person for another 25 minutes after that. So really consider appropriate time and appropriate place. Purpose. What is the reason for the interaction? What is the aim of the communication? And ensuring that your message aligns with the purpose. If you're sending out a meeting agenda on providing feedback to another manager about processes that perhaps you're working on, or a policy that isn't quite working for you, but then you spend an hour talking about something else, it's not really going to feel good the next time you go to engage with that particular stakeholder. Having reliability and consistency in the purpose of meetings, being concise and not going off tangent, is going to support you to get time and space with people in the ongoing, along the future, because they know that when you want to talk to them about something, you really focus on it. Non-verbal communications, super important when we're connecting it to our style. So you might notice that I use my hands a lot. And actually, we know that, I'm putting my hands out here now, but people that talk with their hands open on the sides of their body are immediately inviting openness. It also invokes trust. How we use our body language and our facial expressions, a smile can really create relief or comfort in someone when we're interacting with them about something that might be sensitive as well. These cues, these nonverbal cues, really support how we're communicating. It's supporting the 91% of the communication piece. So really ensuring as well that your nonverbal cues match up to the content, the 9% of your communication. If you're talking about something which is really serious and you're laughing your way through it, it's not quite appropriate. So ensuring that there's a match there. Encourage others to give you feedback, and encourage yourself to seek feedback. Sometimes it can feel scary if we need to go out there and ask people, how our presentation landed, or even after a one-to-one, did that feel good for you? Do you feel like I was really hearing and responding to your needs? Asking very simple questions can really support us to hone and refine our communication style. It also means that we're fair in ourselves because we're not only encouraging constructive feedback, but we're also applying standards to ourselves that we would seek from others. It also means that we acknowledge the perspective of other people as well. And notice I said acknowledge. It might be that when someone provides you constructive feedback, you just don't agree with them and it doesn't align to your values. And that's fine too. But being open to getting feedback, fair and honest feedback. And with that, learn and improve. Refine how you're communicating, learn from the experience itself, and don't beat yourself up. Be patient with this. It takes time to be a seasoned communicator, finding your style. And we're always working on different ways to communicate and adapt to different audiences. And nobody's getting this right all the time. So being really patient and kind to yourself. So let's have a look at our last powerhouse core skill of confidence, the skill and the feeling that we're working towards. So communicating confidently means asserting yourself. And all of these other pieces, all these other elements we've talked about is going to support you to not only feel confident when you're communicating, but to invoke confidence in others. So, not being arrogant, just being assertive, holding your tone, being expressive, and expressing with conviction. So, really truly believing in what you say and being patient to respond qualitatively to to other people, but also to yourself. So, what I mean by that is the question of, thank you very much for your question. And I just need a moment to gather my thoughts and respond. And being confident to write a few notes, gather your thoughts, take a breath before you respond. That can give you just a little injection of confidence when you need it because you're giving yourself time. I really appreciate your feedback there. And I can see that there's still some work that needs to be done. May I just take this day just to work on this and I'll come back to you. So perhaps we could come back together at the end of the day, or let's put in some time tomorrow. Even then, I'm buying myself a bit of time and I'm doing it confidently. So being confident is not giving the answer straight away. It is understanding the best way to give a qualitative response to the other person or persons. Feel free to grab a pen and paper or to pause between each question, but I've covered it already. To build confidence, we need to utilize this powerhouse value of courage to practice, to hone our skills when we're thinking about elevating our communication skills. If you are holding yourself back from saying something in a meeting, if you are unable to express yourself, if you are fearful of repercussions, if there is something that is holding you back, you are afraid of something, and it's okay. But understanding what that fear is going to support you to then put in next steps to get closer to having the courage to express yourself, to communicate. So ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Which of the core skills that we've covered could support you? So if you were able to develop your proficiency in that skill, how could it support you to have courage to step outside your comfort zone? Prepare your communications. It's key. Great communications comes from feeling and being prepared, working out different responses, working out what you're going to say, working out how you're going to say it, timings, all of these things, key messaging. They all help you to feel prepared. And when you feel prepared, you're going to have more courage and it's going to give you just a little bit more confidence. Test your strategy, be courageous. So if it doesn't work first time, then refine, learn. It's okay. you're not going to get it right first time, but with practice, you can work on it and get it to a place where it feels good for you. So let's do a self assessment. And this also might be something that you pause, take some time. But essentially, this is the reflective piece that I was referring to in our first video. So, understanding where you are now, where you want to get to, and what the gaps are. So, if you were to take each core communication skill one by one, and you were to rate yourself how consistently you feel that you show up in that particular skill, or are you exhibiting it? Do you think that other people are seeing it? Go out and get some feedback across all of those communication skills from people that you trust. Just do a top level rating. One, it's not present at all. Two, you're inconsistent. Or three, I'm consistent. So you're feeling quite good about that particular core skill. And then four, you've got no idea. So now you know what the fundamentals are, and you're going to have some more self-awareness, but you're also going to be aware of what you see and hear around you when people are interacting with you. The next part is to split the ratings into your strengths and your development areas. So really understanding what is going to be your focus, and that's going to be your development areas. In those development areas, identify who could help you to develop this skill, get the feedback so that you can understand how you're being seen, how you're being heard, to support you to improve. And then understanding what ways you could support yourself to continue that improvement. Is it really about working on the preparations? Is it about getting continuous feedback from a particular colleague who is in a lot of meetings with you? Is this about engaging with your direct reports to get more timely feedback as well? Because you really want to improve the relationship with your team and the dynamics. So make it real and meaningful for you. So we're wrapping up. Key takeaways. There's 13 core communication skills. The 13th is not only a skill, it's a feeling. We take that feeling for granted. Keep working on it. Pull on your courage. Confidence requires courage to practice. So push yourself outside of your comfort zone. The third key takeaway is you can't improve your communication skills in solo. Please go out and get feedback from people that you trust and you have a good relationship with. And lastly, take a moment to think about your key takeaways from this module. Perhaps it's just one key takeaway, perhaps there's a few things here. Write down what you've learned about yourself today. What are the key takeaways for you? Nice work. So you've completed your Masterclass 2, and I look forward to seeing you in Masterclass 3, where we'll be looking at how you can be human-centered to elevate your communications and be a leader.